And we're back with part 3 of this week's YAWA. I was doing the introduction and you just like interrupted it.
That wasn't me.
It was you. So if you missed part 1 and part 2, go back and watch those. We had some really great questions. Part 1 is pretty much all Instagram questions. Part 2 is pretty much all Facebook questions. And part 3 is going to be a combo of both. So getting started right away from... Don't laugh at me.
Your announcer voice was, it's going to be it sounded like I was watching one of those crappy infomercials at like midnight.
That's enough out of you.
And part 3 will be a combination of both. How many more steak knives are you going to throw in, baby?
From Tom Ludi on Facebook. I've watched every video you guys have produced and am impressed by your knowledge of raising and training puppies to the adult dogs. Well, Tom, I am impressed by your commitment to watching all of our videos. That is a lot of watch minutes. And
it's an insane amount of watch minutes.
And I would say you probably got to see some of our first videos that were meh, and hopefully our content is improving. But getting onto your question.
Hopefully our content is improving. Yes.
What is your background and how did you become so knowledgeable?
Well, thank you for thinking that we are so knowledgeable. I would say that the background is going to involve deep diving into the process. When we began, I knew absolutely nothing. And I mean, by absolutely nothing, I mean absolutely nothing, which is why I want to point this out because some people apologize for their questions. Even we see, I'm sorry for a stupid question. There is no such thing as a stupid question.
And a lot of times we read those questions and I'm like, that's definitely not a stupid question because that's exactly where we were at when we started this process.
And where a lot of people are at. So those things come down to, and I'm going to name off just a couple quick ones would be one, picking a puppy solely based on color. That was the first decision that I made. Another one was
and out of the newspaper. For $200, no pedigree, nothing.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was just a puppy, right? And we preach on breeding programs and finding the right breeder and finding the right breed for you and what you're looking for. And I did none of those things. Now, granted, I had done a little bit of research, but when it came down to the actual dog, no. And
we knew that we wanted a short hair. That's about the extent of the research we did.
And that was based off of recommendations from a bird dog guy. He was actually an English pointer guy. So it's one that you don't often hear that crossover, except for the good guys. The good guys are going to tell you, yeah, even though I breed labs, a lab doesn't sound like what it's for you, or a short hair doesn't sound like, and I'll tell people, they say, I'm a 99% duck hunter. And I'm going to say, well, you need to get yourself a retriever. Even though our dogs are versatile and have the ability to do some of that, you should be getting a dog that does the task that you're looking for. It's going to make everything easier in that whole process along the way. So all of that being said, I got a recommendation from a pointer guy. He said, hey, it sounds like what you explained to me that you're looking for out of a dog, a short hair is going to be perfect for you. So we started looking at that and like, wow, they're really pretty. That was it. They're so pretty. And I got a dog that way. So the other side of it, then, I followed some, there's wives' tales. I often referred to old bird dog tales, if you will, bird dog guy tales. It's just random stuff that older guys that trained bird dogs back in the day did. And my grandpa specifically, love him to death.
Old bird timey guy.
Yeah, he had his way that he trained and developed dogs, and I took it a step further, and I actually had, this is not something that he specifically requested, but I didn't know any better, okay? I took a white rag, and I tied a string to it, and I put pheasant scent on the white rag, and I swung it around my head, and I landed it on the ground, kind of like a combination of wing on a string / scent recognition / white rag. I have no idea, okay? This was bad.
Because we didn't really understand that process is just instilling sight pointing instinct into the situation.
Yes.
We didn't know the difference between sight pointing and scent pointing and why the dog did this. And it was just amazing.
It was amazing. So I've got this thing swinging around. It lands on the ground. I get the dog to point it, sight pointing, and I'm telling it, whoa. And I'm thinking that I'm teaching some good stuff here. And then I took her on her first, this is crazy, Sam. I took her on her first pheasant hunt ever. And we killed a couple pheasants over. She pointed cow, chased a few butterflies. And we got back to the yard and we wanted to do some more work with her because we were excited and that was fun and it was so cool. So we took the dead pheasants and we planted them in the grass and we brought her downwind of them and we tried to get her to point them and we took pictures. And I actually still have one of the pictures today of her pointing a dead pheasant in the grass in her cat's parents' backyard. Yeah, that was this guy. So when you ask questions, don't think they're dumb questions because we've probably been there, done that, tried it.
And hopefully asking those questions
got the t-shirt even. I mean,
will help you learn what to do, what not to do, why to do the things that you should do and not be this guy.
Speaking of t-shirts, we have a couple new t-shirt designs that are going to be coming out. Those are going to be available on our...
One of them's my design.
One of them is Kat's design. Woohoo! And we're going to be pushing those out as a trial run to kind of get a feel for what sizes to order. That merch aspect of t-shirts is a scary
tough to figure out like what size is going to be popular. So we don't get left.
First run of t-shirts, we still have like a whole box of smalls and that was not the greatest.
That was
so
like
if you want a small Standing Stone Kennels t-shirt, throw it in the comments below. Get in touch with us.
It's an original vintage 8 years in the past.
Yes, but I believe only have smalls. So for you little people out there or somebody that wants to wear a t-shirt as a...
Or if you got a kid.
Yeah, a kid, they'd fit kids. Throw it in the comments below. We want to ship those out to you guys. Thanks for watching. Now, on to the question, how did we get to where we're at today? That involved deep diving into the process. I worked at another facility as a poop scooper. Yes, all I did was scoop poop. And then I have this technology background and I helped video training sessions and video everything. And so
it allowed you to watch and learn from videos.
Hours of watching. And that gave me the ability to then move into a assistant training position where is a bigger facility. So we had a lot of dogs and a lot of volume and I ate it up. I mean, and
your assistant position was literally just running finished dogs and keeping the kennels dogs in good running shape. You weren't teaching anything. You were just maintaining.
Handle the finished dogs. Run them, keep them in shape, keep them happy.
And don't mess it up.
And don't mess it up. So after working through that, then I got the opportunity to move more into a full-time training position once I had proven myself. And that also included going down.
You got another puppy.
Yeah, I got a puppy.
And try all the things.
Actually, 2 puppies.
Yes.
Yep. So the first I got Hank. Hank was a really cool dog.
Yeah. This is after Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy was who we made all the mistakes with.
And I spent all of my okay, so I just watched this on a video and my day of scooping poop and videoing stuff is over. So now I'm going to spend my evening trying all of these things on my dog. And I made more mistakes and she suffered through them. She was a very
forgiving dog.
Yes.
And she turned out despite us.
Yes. So then got the opportunity to work for a few years there at the facility with an average of, I would say that while I was there, respectively, considering the fact that I probably got close to 1,000 or 1,200 dogs under my belt from a training standpoint before leaving.
It was a much bigger facility with a much shorter training program turnaround.
Yeah, so lots of dogs in and out all the time. And that exposure gives you the ability to either sink or swim. You're going to learn in that environment or you're going to realize that you need to move on to something different.
You're going to realize that you have a knack for reading dogs and for teaching dogs and for having patience to work with dogs, or you're going to go, this is not for me.
And toward the end of our stay there, Kat actually got the opportunity to move in and start as an assistant trainer.
Because through this whole process, Sammy was our dog.
Yeah.
And the other dogs that came from the kennel that we got to work with and learn from were at our house. So I was very much exposed to that. I got to help, whelp litters of puppies on our own time. And I was in love with it. And I just kept going, I want to do this. I want to do this. When is there going to be an opportunity for me to do this? And eventually one did come available because it's a small business as well. There's only so many positions to go around.
So then, we'd been in dogs for a few years and moved out to try it on our own. And, actually we got an opportunity to move down closer to family. And in that switch, we got an overwhelming number of people that's continued to want to work with us with bird dogs. And so we tried to do this on our own. And in that process, then we took a slightly different approach, which involved and has continued to maintain to this day of doing more with each individual dog. So rather than a 2-week to 30-day program, we try and stay to a 2 to 4 month program.
So instead of the quantity of dogs being just out of control, where you really feel like you can't necessarily maintain that quality control through that many dogs over that short of a period of time, we were able to say, we are going to train fewer dogs for longer periods.
And then at the end of that, you don't have a jack of all trades or a jack of kind of a few trades, master of nothing. You end up with more along the lines of a master of everything idea, which in turn, everybody is happier with. The dog goes home. It's easier to handle. Owners are happier with that. So we've taken that approach to it and just continue to grow. And I will say now, being in dogs for right at 10 years, professionally in dogs for right at 10 years, the more I learn, the more I realize that there's still a lot more to learn. So we appreciate the fact that you value our knowledge, and our goal and passion and desire is to not only help individuals just like we were in the past, but to be able to share the knowledge and information that we have gained over the years with everybody.
So long story short, we were pretty much self-taught and passionate about learning.
Absolutely.
So, great question. Next question from Sandun Josh on Instagram. What is your favorite period of the training stages and puppy stages?
So for me, this one is really easy. I would say my favorite time period in the puppy stages is when the puppy stages are over.
Ethan likes the fact that I enjoy working with the puppies. And
Kat loves the puppies.
I do.
I love puppies. I love puppy development, but it's also very relaxing to move past that puppy into the finished dog stuff.
Puppies are a lot of work.
There's no way around that. Puppies are a lot of work. So that's me.
I definitely like when we get a mature dog fully finished, if you will, whether there's ever fully finished, because you can keep challenging them.
For sure.
But that they're easy to handle, ready to calm down, enjoyable to hunt behind. And that is really enjoyable as well for me. But I do love that. Wow, that was the first time that dog ever pointed something. Holy cow, that was cool. Oh my gosh, we just got this young dog who was about retrieving to be excited about naturally retrieving bumpers or naturally retrieving birds now. Or we took this puppy who wouldn't swim, and over months of development and building them up and encouraging them and building that confidence, we now got this puppy to swim. So those moments for me are the things
very rewarding.
Very rewarding. And that's what keeps me wanting to continue, is those moments where I feel like, wow, we just did something awesome with this dog that learned something new, and their owners are going to be so happy. And I'm so proud of this dog, and I'm so proud of what we were able to do to get this dog there. Those are those moments. Now,
don't get me wrong. I kind of made a smart comment. I do enjoy developing and training puppies. We do all of these series, and that is really fun to be able to work the dog through and show step by step how we've, developed and molded this dog into the best dog that it can be. And having the opportunity to get to work with dogs from our program or other really quality bred dogs out there, it's fun. It really, really, really is fun. It's, for example, the muddy hatch puppies that we just got in as a bunch of puppies into our program for training and everything else. I mean, these dogs we talk about a 2 to 4 month program. Almost every single one of them is cruised through that average 2 to 4 month program in the first 30 days of being here.
Yeah. They're green on everything and need some more exposure, but they are doing it all.
But they are doing it all.
And doing it impressively and naturally.
Should we be ready? Yeah, I guess we're ready for this. before 30 days with every single one of those puppies that was in, they're running braces
and
well
having
trained,
birds shot
having
over them,
birds killed over them. They're doing all of the things in a
water
very,
introductions.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing it all. And now we have the opportunity to take that dog to a whole new level, because in that little bit of extra time that they're here, they're learning how to, you know, quote unquote, master those specific things.
Those
to
behaviors
be so
are
easy to
becoming
handle.
so much more conditioned so
Yes.
that they become the default. So it's not, oh, they did it this time for 30 days. Wow, that was cool. Well, now they did those same things for
just automatic.
60 days or 90 days, and they're just that much more polished at that point.
Yeah. So I definitely love it. But it's relaxing to work with a fully finished dog.
For sure. Next question from Instagram from Neebs16. How much is a fair price for purebred papered puppies, and are they valued equally having different sex from the same litter?
So I want to mention one thing, because you said papered puppies, and there are a lot of people that talk about and do breedings of different things. And, you know, the paper itself doesn't make the dog. But typically when you end up at a place that is a legitimate breeder, I mean, you're always getting papers with that. So it's.
And yes. Okay. I was just going to say, and typically if you're not getting papers, there might be a reason for it. It was an oops litter that happened, or the sire of the litter wasn't registered, or vice versa. And so you can't register the puppies.
That doesn't mean they'll be bad dogs. It just means
that they can't be registered.
Yeah.
And for us, for a breeding program that we are putting a lot of time and effort into developing and creating better bird dogs and continuing to improve the breed and planning our program in the sense that we're moving our breeding program in the direction that we want with dogs that we enjoy training and hunting behind and living with, putting that much time, effort, and energy into it, those puppies are going to be registered.
Sure, 100%.
So the next part of that question was, are they valued equally having different sexes from the same litter?
Males and females?
For us and our program, 100%. All of our puppies are priced the same from male to female and from litter to litter.
Now, I'm going to call out the other puppy breeders out there, and I will assume we'll get a little hate pushback from this, but it's the truth. If you are charging more for a male versus a female, or a female versus a male, it is only a BS sales tactic, and it is not, taking advantage of the fact that taking advantage of the fact that somebody may think that the value of one of the dogs is different. I know that some people struggle to sell males versus females or whatever, but if you are struggling that much to be selling your puppies, you probably don't need to be breeding them and making more dogs. So there is my evil comment of the day. All the dogs.
I wouldn't say evil comment, just brutally honest.
Brutally honest comment. We're going to add a new section. Ethan's brutally honest comment of the day.
I'm pretty sure there'll be multiple segments.
but no, they, in our opinion, in our eyes, they are valued the same.
And I would say as breeders, and I talk to a lot of our puppy buyers, Ethan talks to a lot of our puppy buyers. It's a joint partnership. Correct me if I'm wrong, honey, but I would say it goes in spurts and cycles where it's like everybody wants a male puppy.
100%.
Now next year, everybody wants a female puppy. And it is funny. Like I had a litter of all male puppies. But it was like all the people that had females were like, I will not take a male. I have to have a female. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll have to move you to a different litter, obviously.
Yeah.
And then it'll go in the reverse. Now I'm like, now I can't create a male puppy to save my life. We've got a whole bunch of females coming out. And everyone's like, oh, I really wanted a male puppy.
Yes. It seems like whatever you have an abundance of, more people were interested in the other. But it's
just how Mother Nature goes. You can't
you have no control over it. And as a puppy buyer, I will tell you that the biggest difference between your male versus your female, it's not personality, it's not temperament, it's not ability to hunt or drive or desire or any of those things.
Being friendly or family oriented.
None of them apply.
Or that they get along with other dogs.
None of them apply. None of them. The biggest difference between a male and a female dog are the males are going to be typically, not always, typically larger. The females are going to be typically smaller. All of your personality characteristics, ability, drive, desire, heart, all family orientedness, let's add all kinds of things on into that. All of those things apply to the specific breeding. It's genetics, folks. It's genetics.
So whatever your parents are of a litter is
That's
typically going to be what you're going to see out of puppies, male or female alike. And then you've also got reproductive systems would be the other difference.
Yep. The other difference is going to be the males have male parts and the females have female parts.
So you've got heat cycles to potentially deal with if your female is kept intact.
Correct.
And then males are going to want to be testosterone driven to mark on things, not in the house. I mean, you raised a clean house trained puppy, so it's not going to associate that in the house, but out and about, they'll be like, gonna pee on this tree, or gonna pee on this tire.
Yeah. And females can learn that as well. It's less common, but all of the things being said, the two big differences are going to be size and then reproductive parts and the specific things that are associated with that. So if you need a dog to be bigger, like you're going to do a ton of goose hunting or something like that, big geese, and you want them to be able to retrieve that, a slightly bigger jaw and head
and
is going
taller dog
is going to be able to support that, where
and carry that goose up from dragging on the ground if they're taller.
Correct. So all of that being said, if you are looking for a dog, keep an open mind. Work with your breeder, whether it be us or somebody else, and say, this is what I'm looking for, and trust that they're going to be able to help you find that, whether it be a male or a female.
And then the other part of that question that we kind of skipped over is, how much is a fair price? That's really going to depend, and there's going to be a range.
Huge
and
range.
We've definitely seen a increase in recent trends of what people are getting for puppies.
I think that is a goal to truly put a value on what is happening. The guys that are out there doing it right and putting a lot of time, effort, and energy are trying to separate themselves from all of the coattail riders that are trying, the price of these dogs are going up, so I'm going to tack that on mine because it'll look like...
Because I'm going to ask the same price for my puppies.
Yeah, and all I can say with this is you're typically going to be getting what you pay for, whether that be total experience, the quality of the dog, the relationship that you build with your breeder, and the end game after that. If something goes wrong, if something doesn't go perfect, the people that are going to help stand behind and help
make the
with
situation
that, make
right.
that situation right. So.
But like you were saying, though, there's the people that, I don't know if you want to call them, coattail riders, or just the people that are like, hey, I've got this one litter and I see what these people are asking for their puppies. So hobbyists. I'm going to ask the same for my puppies. For example, if you look at what we try and do with our breeding program and our puppies.
You can actually watch that.
Yes, you can watch that through our puppy litter development with the Muddy and Benny litter right now. It's going on. So check that playlist out.
We're going to fill in the gaps with the next litter that's about to be born here in the next week. Should have a much larger litter. So you'll get to see.
This was kind of our test phase of what do we need to include in this video series. And then we started getting more questions and going, we should have filmed that. So we're going to hopefully have worked out most of the kinks for litter number 2, so you can see even more what we do with these litters.
And the development process will look different with, let's say, 10 to 12 puppies versus 4.
Yes, definitely will look different. So you can watch along with exactly what we're doing with those puppies from day 1 to the day that they go home. And that can give you a really good idea of, wow, they're doing all of that with their puppies. That makes sense why they charge what they charge. And if somebody else is charging a similar price, you can say, well, what do you do with your puppies? And if they can't necessarily validate their price.
Well, mom takes care of them till she doesn't, and then we feed them.
I like how you put a country twang on that, because that's not always the case. But, say, well, mom has the puppies in her doghouse in the backyard and the kids go out and play with them. And we make sure that mom's got food and water, and we make sure that the puppies, get their shots at 6 weeks, and then they go home at 6 weeks.
Don't do it.
So ask what's being done with the litter for as far as development and socialization, and make sure that what the breeder is truly asking for seems to actually equate with why they're asking that price.
Perfect. Great question.
I don't think we have time for any more questions.
No, we don't.
Oh, and there were so many more good ones. You talk too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I'm sorry that we couldn't get to more questions this week. There were so many good ones.
Definitely, guys, if your questions didn't get answered, we will be doing this again next week. And we have patreon.com/Standing Stone Kennels, where you can sign up there for subscription to get your questions answered daily. There are very few days that I don't get to those questions every single day. So definitely check us out there. It's patreon.com/Standing Stone Kennels. And that is all we have for this week on You Ask, We Answer. I'm the guy with the pink gun.
And I'm Kat, the dog trainer. Thank you guys for tuning in.
We'll catch you next time.